folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater Season 5. Who had that ready to go?
That was me. Season 5, y'all.
Yeah.
You gotta get some reggae horns in there.
Our first installment, Fireback. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts, Blake and John.
Yo.
Hey.
All right. So, do we already have a contender for the Buffalo Rider Award?
No, because there was nothing in me that thought this would be good.
I thought this would at least be something. I thought it would at least be what it was advertising itself to be.
Now, there was things I found that were funny to me, but not enough to, like, I don't know.
I can sum up what it felt like to watch this movie in one sentence. Sorry, but our princess is in another castle.
Yeah.
Every step forward this asshole made just ended in failure and another name to pursue.
Oh, man.
It was better than Ninja Terminator.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was coherent at least 2/3 of the way.
Well, I know it's better than Ninja Terminator because I was awake.
Fair enough.
But it reminded me of, like, when a kid's telling you a story and they have nowhere to go with it. So it's just, they keep saying, and then.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, there is no story here.
No.
It's just a bunch of and thens.
God. What a way to kick it off. I should have known better to pick a Richard Harrison movie, God damn it.
Oh, Richard. Poor bastard.
Okay, so let's get down to business. We now return to our movie already in progress, apparently, because this thing just fucking starts. Like, there's a dude in mid-sentence when the movie starts. Richard Harrison is in the middle of...
So then I said, that's not a horse, that's my wife.
Richard Harrison is giving a rundown to a group of soldiers about his new invention, the one-man army gun, a.k.a. the Omni gun. And if it were bright orange and yellow, it would fit right in on the Nerf gun aisle at Target.
Yes. It's like a prototype for the shittiest Nerf gun ever.
Well, not only that, okay, it's a gun that has everything on it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. But it's still one guy shooting it.
Yeah.
You still got to switch between all the...
Yeah,
all
so
the
they talk about,
options
it
here.
can take out so many people because it's like having a whole platoon. No, it's not. It's still one guy.
Yeah. It's one guy that has to haul a table around with him so he can prop it up to switch the mechanisms on it.
Yeah.
Well,
It
I got
weighs like
problems with
70 pounds.
I got a lot of problems with the gun. It starts out with, like, John was right whenever we're talking about, and aren't you the one that said it's got a compass in the stock?
Yeah.
It's got a radio in the stock.
Yeah.
It's got a radio in the stop. And this thing that tells time.
But, okay, when he went through everything that it does, the ammo required, like, you would have to have, yeah, it's one guy that can fire all these weapons, but you'd need 5 dudes to carry all the ammo.
Yeah, let's go over the rundown. It's got an automatic rifle, a .30 caliber machine gun, a grenade launcher, a bazooka, and a mini missile. So 2/3 of this gun are all basically the same function.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you now, RPG rounds, you don't fit them in your pocket.
He just wears like one on a necklace around his neck.
What's the distinguishing factor between the bazooka and the mini missile?
I don't know, the spray paint on it.
Suddenly, as he's doing his spiel, Charlie swarms out of the trees, and they surround this impenetrable compound.
Jesus Christ.
It's one little thatch roof shack and just like sticks stuck
and
in
an
the
American
sand around
flag.
it.
That's all it is. It's like
I also
a
like
decoy.
how all the soldiers like took cover and started using normal guns, and nobody thought to grab the Omni gun.
Nope. We don't need that.
You know, the one gun that could take out everybody.
Yeah.
So Rich is going over the radio in the stock and the infrared scope when the Viet Cong spring their trap and they all attack. And, let's not be stingy with the slow-mo, fellas.
Yeah.
Let's show entire sequences in full tilt slow-mo. The Viet Cong troops gun down the American troops and take Rich captive. Roll credits. Movie over. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Well, okay. So, the credits. If you're just going to freeze frame on a guy, like at least have him in a good position. Like it was just him and his weird face staring back at me for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was not. It wasn't a good place to like just settle for the credits.
It was the face that I would watch the rest of this movie with.
It was also giving away a little bit of the game when like you could see the shoes on the Viet Cong. Like one of them was just rocking Converse.
Yes, he was wearing Chucks.
Oh, Lord. So, after the credits, a seemingly completely different movie starts up. And knowing the Richard Harrison library, it's quite possible it is. Where this man is being constantly rejected by this woman, Diane. So he goes and gets the help of this other woman to assist him in wooing Diane. Diane, however, is busy fantasizing of old Richard, mashing his mustache all over her face.
Oh my god. This whole scene was pretty funny to me. Him running down all the stuff he did to like try to woo her.
He did everything for her. Everything.
Everything. He even brought her flowers.
Yeah.
Like when she rejects the flowers, like the camera zooms in on the flowers, like the flowers are real sad. I offered my dick, but she refused him, and the camera pushed in on his lonely looking dick, like looking real sad.
All I was thinking was like, if this was released now, like in 2019, you couldn't have this whole sequence in there. Like she told you no way too many times for you to keep pursuing it.
She doesn't want your smelly old dick, dude. Like, give it up.
Yeah.
She's looking at Richard's picture on her nightstand and sobs before picking it up and turning off the light and laying down in bed.
Hold on. Why didn't I think about this before? She's staring at a dick pic on her nightstand.
It's technically true. You're technically correct. The best kind of correct. So she goes to bed. Moments later, a man with a golden hand breaks in. And he just can't keep this unwieldy thing under control because he's knocking shit down, alerting Diane to his presence.
The first thing he does when he steps in the house is knock a vase down.
What is that thing, new or something? Like,
I just got it yesterday.
So she goes and searches the house and is attacked by the mysterious man. Cut to the president, perhaps? I don't know. It's an important man behind a desk. He's telling some guy that he's received intelligence that they've got some men still being held captive in Vietnam, and he wants him to lead the rescue mission of Jack Kaplan. Jack's Richard Harrison, so he's going to be Jack from now on. And a few minutes later, he's there in Vietnam.
Yeah. There was like no gearing up montage or anything. Nope. It was like, nope, just change shirts and get in the jungle.
There.
They don't matter at all. Look at this squad of average sized ass motherfuckers.
What better to lead a rescue raid?
Mm-hmm.
The men swarm the definitely Vietnamese jungle. There's no way this is not Vietnam, guys. They find the prison camp. Then they soon let the slow-mo fly and just start blowing the bejesus out of the place. The men rescue the POWs and very slowly flee the scene. So did they just take over the camp that they were in initially?
As they're fleeing the scene, there's 3 guys fleeing, and each one of them throws a grenade into a building.
Yeah.
Number one, grenades don't explode like that. They don't burst into flames and set fire to everything around.
In Hollywood, they do.
Right. But only 2 of the huts did that. One of them blew up like a grenade would, but neither here nor there. But on the second explosion, it was so close to one of the quote-unquote dead bodies that he sprang back to life for a second, rolled out of the way, and then went back dead again.
It was hot. So minutes later, Jack is all healed up and ready to get out of the hospital and out on the town. The time between these cuts, they couldn't have done it more poorly.
Yeah.
He calls up his wife, but the phone's off the hook. All the phones in this movie are red. And it is like, are all the phones in this time period red, or did they just have the one prop phone for the whole production?
All of them are connected to Batman.
Yeah.
They have at least 3 other phones, but
yeah,
they're all on one guy's desk.
So that guy, the president, quote unquote, some military man, comes in and tells Jack that they've organized a party for him and not to worry about his missing wife. He gives Jack some money, some regards for his wife, and his car?
Yeah, just take my car.
I thought like maybe this was to shore up, like maybe people had questions about where he would get his money and how did he get a car so fast. And so somebody just wrote in there, we're like, well, we'll just make sure that the guy gives him some money in his car. We don't have to worry about that. They're just tying up loose ends.
Yeah, because the continuity and sense was very important to these people when making this movie.
Right.
So as Jack drives home with a stack of gifts for his wife, he daydreams of poolside makeout sessions, and he arrives and rushes in, snap zoom on the prop phone.
The same footage as before.
Yeah.
By the way. So we got to keep in mind that the only footage we ever have of him and his wife together is this one scene of her swimming and like them making out.
That's it.
That's all we get.
I also loved it every time it came up because she dives in the pool, swims across the pool, and he's sitting outside of the pool on the other side.
Yeah.
So she tries to come up out of the water to kiss him, but she didn't have enough momentum. So he's got to kind of like grab her under her arms and pull her up because she didn't make it.
So he enters the house. Diane's nowhere to be found. He spots his neighbor, Mike, but Mike's no help at all. He doesn't know where she is either. Later, Jack arrives at his regular bar and tells the bartender that he can't find his wife. And the bartender says, "You should just ask the man with the golden hand." Okay. Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he's a well-known villain around these parts.
So Jack then goes and searches the nearby disco-themed strip club, or whatever this is supposed to be.
Yeah. It's a nightmare cacophony of like offbeat snapping and clapping.
Yeah, people snapping everywhere. It was crazy. But the guy with the golden hand, he says, you should ask the guy with the golden hand. He turns around, he's gone, like he disappeared out of there.
Yeah.
But he knows exactly what nightclub he went to.
There's only one
nightclub. Just shows up.
There's only one nightclub in town.
If I had a golden hand, what nightclub would I go to?
The one next door.
Yeah. So he orders a drink at the bar, and he slides it down to this guy at the end of the bar. The guy picks it up, gives him a compliment, gives him the drink back, and then leaves. I don't understand what just happened.
Also, he only ordered one drink.
Yeah. I don't understand what just happened here.
He knocks on the bar, holds up the number 1. The guy gives him 2 beers.
It's 2 for 1 night at the strip club discotheque. So Jack follows the man out and into a nearby building. The man surprises Jack and gets an elbow to the stomach for his trouble. And it turns out that Jack and this guy go way back somehow, and now they get to catch up privately. So what was with all the Mysterioso interaction just then, if they knew each other?
Beats the shit out of me.
No good answers.
What was that for? The man tells Jack that he is glad that he's alive because he thought he was dead. Like Angelville, man. Jack asks him about the man with the golden hand, and the man tells him not to worry about that worthless punk. He says his name's Dennis. Dennis.
His fucking name is just Dennis.
The man with the golden hand's name is Dennis.
There's only one man whose mere sound, the mere mention of his name strikes fear in the heart of all warriors. Dennis.
So he tells him to go to Molly's on 10th Street, and boom, we're there. Fight scene.
Well, first of all, like MGH, I'm calling the man with the golden hand MGH. Or Dennis.
Yeah, you can call him by his name, Dennis.
He's
I didn't
just
know you were
chilling.
called Dennis. We didn't bother to find out, did you?
Just chilling, like being himself. You know, like the golden hand didn't change him. You know, there's no pretense. Just sitting back in his tracksuit with like an average looking woman on his cheap hotel room bed. Life's fucking good for MGH. All right.
Well, the thing is, he knows he's pulling one over on everybody. So it's like the guy who wears the fake Rolex, but he knows it's fake. So, like, this guy with the golden hand knows it's just cardboard. Like, we can tell it's cardboard.
Yeah. So
But
he doesn't get all
apparently,
high and mighty about it.
Yeah, so he's just like, yeah, man, I'm getting one over on everybody. Everybody thinks I'm the man with a golden hand. But all it did was, you know, watch a video on YouTube, found out how to make a gauntlet, and put it on.
I spray painted a Pringles tube, and here we go.
Yeah.
So Jack.
So at this point, Jack is just going off the word of some bartender.
Yeah.
You know, like he has no information directly linking this man to his wife's disappearance.
And all he said was go and ask him, not he's involved in it in any way.
And Jack's like,
true.
Kill him. Got it.
Meanwhile, the bartender's back there rubbing his hands. The perfect crime.
Everyone knows you just gotta tell Jack to ask somebody a question and he'll kill that motherfucker.
So Jack burst into the room where Dennis and this woman is. The brawl ensues, and by brawl I mean shoving contest. Jack eventually gets the drop on Dennis with a pistol, and Dennis tells Jack to go back to the discotheque and talk to Eve, who's the woman who hired him. So Jack does. He just abandons the man with the golden hand, Dennis, and takes him at his word and goes back to talk to Eve, just leaves him. Jack pulls up, and the guard tells him, hey, you can't just walk up in here, asshole. To which Jack says, I want to talk to Eve. And the guard's like, oh, okay, go ahead in.
Yeah. Why even have a security guard?
Yeah.
He then immediately barges into Eve's dressing room and starts choking her until she gives him a name. He then walks her out right back by the most worthless guard known to guarddom. He bumps into him. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Goddamn people.
There's no
Worthless.
point in him being there.
No, none at all.
Goddamn people. Not giving us sentient parade floats any goddamn respect.
Oh, man.
So,
And so at this point, all we know about Jack is that he'll
He's
just
an
like
asshole.
violently assault anybody for almost any reason.
yeah.
Well, I didn't put it together until y'all said it, but he's just going on hearsay.
Yeah.
And he's just going, like, choking women for no reason.
He doesn't even know that his wife's, like, missing. She could just be, like, at the store or something.
He didn't even ask her a question to gauge if she was even playing him or not. He just walked in and started choking her.
Yeah. On the word of the bad guy of the movie.
Yeah, the shiftiest motherfucker, like, he's got a golden hand and a mustache. Like, don't take his word for anything.
Look, Tony Soprano had a better clearing process than this guy. If Tony thought somebody was a rat, he'd go talk to him because he said he was I could tell when anybody's lying to me. And he'd give him a hug and pat for the wire and all that stuff and, you know, try to feel him out. This dude, she knows all about it. Okay, barge in the room and start choking her. I want a name. And she could say anything because a crazy man had just come in and started choking her. Just make up a name. So Jack goes in the phone book, goes strangles another guy.
Just strangling his way through the phone book.
Yeah. So, after Jack leaves, Eve gets on the phone and calls up Duffy, who's the man from the earlier scene with Diane, and tells him that Jack's on his way to Bart McNeil's house. Duffy says, "Don't worry, I'm going to fix him." Duffy then makes a call to Shadow to ask for who's naming these characters. We've got a Bart, a Dennis, a Duffy, and now fucking Shadow.
We got lots of good names still to come.
Yeah. If Bart was smart, whenever Jack would go start choking him, be like, give me a name. Some guy named Jack, he's in the army. He just came back from Vietnam. And Jack would just start choking himself. Give me answers, you son of a bitch.
Throw himself directly through a window or a mirror.
So, the guy that helped Jack earlier, his name's Digger, but we don't find that out for a while. He's leaving his green-ass house and runs into Dennis. He offers Dennis double the money that Jack paid him to rat him out, but Dennis is in no mood. So Dennis finger blasts him in the stomach, killing him instantly. Cut to Bart's place. Jack drags him out from under a car and demands answers because he's tired, god damn it. He was just freed from a Viet Cong prison 12 hours ago, for Christ's sake. Ninja attack! Who would have possibly guessed that Shadow was a ninja?
Oh my god.
Caught me by surprise.
So, Shadow uses his ninja magic to blow up part of Bart's spine as Jack opens fire. He's just throwing ninja explodey balls everywhere. A man overhears the commotion and calls the cops. Jack hears the sirens and flees, but runs into his dead friend's body. A different woman looks on from the shadows as Jack slips away. Snap zoom on Jack's friend's eyeballs. The woman later calls the cops and tells them that Jack's the murderer and he killed all these people. The cops put out a search for Jack, but to be careful because he can turn an ordinary drinking straw into a deadly weapon. The next day,
why didn't they demonstrate?
I got excited when they said that because I was like, wait, okay, maybe we'll see this in use.
Yeah,
but we didn't.
We'll see him be like super elite.
It's not so much that he's elite, much more that all the opponents he goes up against are worthless.
Yeah.
Well, Duffy seems to have a strange vetting process for his assassins.
Yeah.
It's like he's all about the gimmick.
Yeah.
Like don't miss him with that ability shit.
Yeah,
he's all about the gimmick.
There's more to come, folks, believe me. It gets
like, you got a golden hand, you're fucking in, bro.
It's like Dr. Evil's board members, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all the villains have, like, something about them.
So, the next day, a detective and a beat cop is searching Jack's home. The cop says that he found out that Jack went crazy after he found out that his wife was missing. And the detective suggests that maybe his wife was two-timing Jack, and that's why he went mad. Just jumping to conclusions here.
That should have been the name of this movie.
Jumping to conclusions.
Every
Starring
single person
Richard
in this
Harrison.
movie. Yeah, every person in this movie jumps to conclusions.
Yep. So Jack spots his wanted poster on a newspaper while walking through the mall. He hides from the cops and drives away as yet another, more different woman watches him from her car. She follows him
No,
to
that's Eve, right?
Is it?
I thought it was Eve, yeah.
Okay, maybe it is Eve. I don't know. I was losing track of people. They just keep... There's so many characters in this goddamn movie. She follows him to a beach house where she calls Duffy to tell him about Jack's whereabouts and that Jack is now wanted for the murder of Barton Digger. Duffy says he'll take care of him. And why are they going through such lengths to hide Duffy's face?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
He's a character we've never seen, and I guarantee you that it's not going to be shocking when they reveal him.
No.
And it wasn't. I thought it was going to be the president at one point.
Dude, you know what I was thinking? And I'm sorry because I guess I'm an idiot. But the whole time I was thinking, like, maybe it's Jack.
Or like Jack's twin brother or something.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, there's literally no reason like to hide his face at all.
No, because it just turns out to be some dude.
Yeah.
It's like the villain from Inspector Gadget over here.
So,
Shit, now I can't remember his name.
Dr. Claw.
Dr.
Okay,
Claw.
thank God, because that would have bothered me until I went to sleep.
So, a kid on a motorbike arrives at the beach house and knocks on the door. Jack gets his gun and answers. The kid says that he's a repairman here to fix the toilet leak, and he has to do it now. So,
And all I could think was, no, he's not. He's not a plumber at all, Jack. Don't believe him.
And like who's he work for? Like that you just show up and have to plumb like right now. You know?
well, whose
Like, I
house
didn't
is
call.
this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't call you.
I mean, why is Jack there? It's not his house. Whose house is this?
Maybe it's like he's renting it. Like he needed a place to lay low, so he rented out this beach hut.
Yes.
It's
So,
an Airbnb.
Jack reluctantly lets him in. The kid can't find anything wrong with the commode and goes to leave, but Jack notices that he forgot his bag. After giving it back, the kid very smoothly just tosses it back at Jack and runs out of the house. Jack runs after him, chucks the bag at the kid, which promptly explodes, sending him flying. Jack grabs the kid and demands to know who put him up to this. The kid says that it was Harry Johnson. Yep.
I loved it.
Good friend of Seymour Butts.
Yes.
Come on, dude, Harry Johnson.
Cut to Harry Johnson.
Everybody in this movie, though, just gives up names so quick.
Yep. Well, it's
Like,
easy.
nobody has any sense of, like, snitches get stitches at all.
Well, it's easy when you just make up the names off the top of your head.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
Now Jack's just murdering some poor random bastard named Harry Johnson.
With the unfortunate name of Harry Johnson.
So yeah, cut to Harry Johnson as Jack closes in. And this is all this movie's going to be. Jack finds X person tries to kill Jack and fails. Jack demands a name. X person gives up Y person. Rinse and repeat ad nauseum forever. Jack gets into a rumble with Harry, who pulls out his garrote wire from his wristwatch. He starts strangling Jack, but Jack manages to get his gun and shoots Harry dead.
They had no conversation at all.
No, they're just walking by each other and then brawl. But
Another
Harry
detail about the character named Harry Johnson is that he only
Was
has
it played by Mike Roch?
he only has one eye.
Yeah, there you go. Let's just lean into it.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
he's the one-eyed Harry Johnson. But
Jesus Christ.
luckily, Jack was able to beat him off.
Ba-doom.
I love it.
So, cut to the Dutch Inn, where Jack gets a room under the name Mr. Smith. Eve, I guess, follows him in and goes up to the clerk and asks if her husband is checked in. The clerk asks her, "Who's your husband?" And instead of, giving him a name, she gives a vague description. And the clerk's like, "Oh yeah, he's in this room, lady.
He looks like a man, with the mustache and whatnot."
He's a man. He's kind of tallish, shortish, with blondish, brownish hair.
It's not suspicious at all that you don't know the name of your husband.
He's got a jacket on, maybe not.
So later, Duffy calls up the cat burglar.
The fact that this guy was holding a cat right after they said the cat burglar.
He's not a cat burglar because he's a cat burglar.
Him.
Yeah, it's not that he's a cat burglar in the sense of, what a cat burglar is. He's just a burglar who happens to travel accompanied by cat.
That's his gimmick. Duffy's like, "What's your thing?" It's like, "I carry this fucking cat all the time."
You're hired.
You're in.
So, he tells him that he's got a job for him. He sneaks into the hotel like he's in a fucking Hanna-Barbera cartoon. He's doing like the tiptoe thing. Breaks into Jack's room.
He might as well have had like that a black mask on and like a beanie.
What if the cat is actually the cat burglar?
Oh man, don't get me started on that unprofessional ass cat. Did you see it just like staring into the camera?
Yes, I did. It was worse than Chucky.
Oh Lord. Okay,
well, that's a real far back.
That's a way callback. Good Lord. So he breaks into Jack's room and is immediately caught by Jack. Not so much of a cat burglar. And here we go again, damn it. Who sent you, brawl, dead, shit? Eve gets on the horn with Duffy again. But don't worry, because now Duffy's got Panther on the way. How many fucking characters and steps to this plot are there? This fucking rogues gallery where the heavy hitter is named Dennis.
The boss is named Duffy.
Cut to the grocery store.
What if it turned out that Duffy was this is like the young version of the immortal dude from Avalanche Sharks?
Yeah, the elemental?
Back in his young days.
I'm going with that.
Yeah. So, cut to the grocery store where Panther strikes. And what's Panther's claim to fame? Tantamount to a pointy stick.
He's a fake blind guy.
He stabs Jack with his pointy cane, but surprise, surprise, Jack kills him anyway. Oh no, not Panther. I've come to love that character so much. Don't worry, Duffy's gonna get on the horn. Get me Bad Tipper Jerry. He'll sort this out. No, wait. Get me the Velociraptor. He runs people over with a mobility scooter. So Eve runs up to Jack as he slumps down and helps him into her car. She takes him back to her place and asks him if he's figured out anything about his wife, and he angrily tries to leave, but she insists that he lay down upstairs, and she starts to crawl all over him. And why? Why has she had this change of heart out of nowhere?
I don't think she has. I think she just has like an idiotic plan.
So,
like, he was stabbed outside in the parking lot. Just finish him off.
Exactly.
You don't have to go through all this bullshit.
So she's starting to crawl all over him, and while he momentarily mistakes her for Diane, but then, oh no, Dennis attacks, flailing his golden hand around. He accidentally knocks Eve to the ground, but then Jack pulls out his trump card, a small wicker table, and completely neutralizes Dennis's hand.
Oh man, I bet he cut off his hand just for the sake of the gimmick.
Just to be killed when he got it stuck in an end table.
This movie's stupid.
So, Jack manages to get to his gun and blast Dennis to hell. Meanwhile, we finally get the Duffy reveal, and it's just as unspectacular as you'd expect.
It's some man.
He just kind of walks into the room where Diane is, and that's that. Diane picks up a porcelain statue and throws it at Duffy in super slow-mo, which only captures in agonizing detail how off the mark her throw was. If Duffy was standing slightly to her right in front of her, she threw it clear behind her to the left.
Yeah. Probably because Duffy gave her explicit instructions before the take, not to mess up his moneymaker.
You better not hit me.
So Duffy throws her on the bed and starts rubbing his face all over her.
It worked for Jack.
He's trying everything to win this woman over.
She's like, you don't have a mustache. Stop it.
So she bashes him in the nuts and makes a run for another porcelain projectile, which she also misses with. She books it down a hallway before she's stopped by Dennis.
Hold on. She doesn't book it down the hallway. She takes a few steps, hugs the wall, looks back, takes a few more steps, then there's Dennis.
But Dennis, we just saw Dennis die.
No, he wasn't dead. Duh.
No, this is a flashback.
Is it?
What denotes that? This is Eve recounting things that she wasn't even there to observe.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I thought that Dennis had special powers.
No, he's dead. I mean, he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. Okay.
God.
Wow.
So this is where Eve finally gives up Duffy's location at the old fort. We finally have the location of the final boss. Jack speeds through the night to the fort. It's at this point where I said to myself, all right, movie, I've been very patient. Where's the gun?
It's not here.
Where's the fucking gun that's on the cover of the goddamn movie?
You got to get the DLC for that gun. Because it ain't in the release, I'm going to tell you now.
90% of the trailer to this movie is showing off that fucking gun. Yeah. And it's in exactly one scene at the tippity top of the movie, and it, spoiler alert, never comes back. There's a perfect point in which it could have come back.
Yeah.
But it did not, and we'll get to that in a moment.
It's insanely insulting. I don't understand.
This movie is brought to you by EA Games.
Oh man.
Sense of pride and accomplishment. So Jack sneaks into the bowels of the fort and he finds Diane chained up dungeon style, and I guess she's dead. It didn't read that way to me.
No.
But she
Not
is.
Until I thought she was alive until he touched her.
I thought he just abandoned her there, because now the next scene, it's daylight. He's alone out in front of some beachfront condo now. What is he doing? So yeah, she was dead apparently. Who knew?
Yeah, his reaction didn't sell that.
No. His reaction sold that I finally found my wife that I've been murdering random people to get to.
He's like, oh, there you are.
When she didn't respond, I figured she was dead. Y'all just don't know how to watch movies, I guess.
I figured she was unconscious. Tuckered out from heaving all those porcelain pigs.
Damn, I thought for sure that was going to be a question.
So, yeah, the next morning or something, Jack's scoping out the scene at this condo that's got all these guards everywhere, and he decides he's outgunned. So he takes a detour to the next day. Time is just, who knows? And he goes to a gun store for supplies. Cut to Police Chief jumps to conclusions, who says that Diane isn't missing. She was kidnapped. Isn't that the same thing?
No, it's not.
It's a more specific form of missing.
So he says that all the men Jack has been killing are probably connected to it. And then a report comes in that says that they found Diane dead. The chief orders roadblocks put up because there's about to be a whole heap of dead bodies.
Also, at this point, I was like, why doesn't Jack ever call the police? Like, you came home, your wife was missing. He didn't call the police. You find your wife dead. You don't call the police.
He's going to handle this himself.
I guess.
So there's
But at least you could get the police off your back.
Yeah. Well, I think it's to set up the confrontation with the police. Like,
The most pointless confrontation in the movie.
yes.
Oh, you mean when he starts murdering innocent people?
Yes.
You mean when in Act 3 of this fucking movie they decide to let's just do First Blood? Why the hell not?
Yeah, exactly. because
thought
this movie
this was familiar.
came out 1 year after First Blood came out. So I almost guarantee that it was intended to rip off First Blood.
Why not
Boy,
just
that
rip?
tells you-
Why cram it in the third act of the movie? If you're gonna
That
rip
tells
off First
you
Blood,
how
rip it
shitty,
off.
how shitty this movie is. That it came out a year after First Blood and it looked like this.
Yeah. Yes. It looks terrible.
Like, dude, that's an eye opener for me. Like, just think of First Blood and then think of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think of anything else that came out in 1983, and then think of this.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
There's some observations about the police chief or whatever he is. His little office. First of all, he's got the shittiest office in all of policedom, and like his desk is he's just like trapped in a corner. There's no way out from behind his desk.
he's
You
gonna
see this?
He's gonna clamber over like a land crab.
Yes. He's gotta like crawl under it or something. And there's a map. So this is supposed to be America.
Yeah.
This movie is supposed to take place in America because there's an American flag in every building.
Yeah.
But there's a map on his wall that's just of the Philippines.
Maybe he's a traveler.
He like points to the map. He's like, this is where
he does. I forgot about
Bring
that.
attention to it.
You're right.
Oh my god.
Like when he's going over the plan or where they need to go, he's pointing up. Yeah.
So another day goes by, and Jack's in a scrapyard montaging it up. And this is where I was like, could it be? Could it be? Is he building the gun? Budget John Belushi rolls up in on his motorcycle with the spy girl from earlier. He inspects Jack's car and is immediately jumped by Jack. The girl runs off and flags down the cops and tells them that the murderer, Jack Kaplan's back there. Jack jumps in his car and deploys a smoke bomb from a secret compartment under the license plate that he had time to build.
Okay, here we go. This is my official rant for this movie. I'm a tinkerer myself. I like to build things. And you can't go take car parts and cobble them together to make weapons to come out of a car. Not gonna happen. But say you did, okay? You're still in a junkyard. You would not be able to manufacture custom bezels and controls that are hidden inside the dashboard to only come out when you want them to and hit labeled buttons to make shit happen.
Maybe we're to believe his car already had that.
No, because he got it from Asshole in the beginning of the movie.
Maybe Asshole's car had it already.
Look, this thing ain't the Mach 5. All right? There's no way you can manufacture that stuff in one night.
There's a theory on the table that man might be the president, so maybe he does have some super special car.
Then what's he building everything for?
Just go talk to the president.
Not to mention, there would be a spider's nest of wires going from trunk to the front seat to control all this stuff. That would say that not only did he he fabricated and machined weapons to be hidden inside of a car, but he pulled up the carpet and ran the wires underneath the carpet to a console hidden in the dashboard.
Hold on, Blake, are you trying to tell me that this is preposterous?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't know, like, I can forgive movies for a lot of shit, but things like, okay, when it comes to the weapons, and I guess tinkering now, we can add it to my list, 'cause I do that too. It doesn't work like that. Like, if you build any sort of little machine, and it's like your prototype, there's wires everywhere. There's just shit that, like, that's not how it works. You don't get finished product in one night. Labeled.
Jack Kaplan thinks form before function.
Yeah. Well, okay, so one thing that I think we were supposed to know about him was that he invented that gun at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fine. But I'm sure he had a whole shop to do that.
So that means he can do anything, Blake.
Yeah.
Just drop him in a dump and he's in heaven.
Oh, is he a jack of all trades?
Yeah. So let me throw you, since we're getting into the nitty gritty on this, let me throw this one by you. Tony Stark fan number 1. If Tony Stark can build a flying suit of armor in a cave with a bunch of scrap metal, why can't this guy build a simple push button device to open up his license plate and drop out a smoke bomb?
2 reasons. Number 1, he's not Tony Stark.
He's got a mustache.
He's not Tony Stark.
Boom. Nailed.
Number 2, that's a comic book and not real life.
I mean, this is arguably a comic book too. I mean,
and
you got motherfuckers like named Panther and Cat Burglar and stuff roaming around.
I'm changing my number 2. Number 2, Tony Stark is a genius. This man is not a genius.
He's just a psycho murderer.
Yeah. He's not a genius.
We'll agree to disagree.
Well, Tony Stark also had, how long did he have in there? Like a month or something?
Yeah, it wasn't overnight, and that's what I was going to say.
We have no idea how much time has passed in this movie, and you can't argue with me that you know.
Okay, fair enough. But when Tony Stark's making Mark II in the movie, when he's making Mark II, we have a whole montage of all his failures and wires and shit everywhere because he's just tinkering.
Well, maybe Jack Kaplan isn't as much of a fuck up as Tony Stark.
I quit the podcast.
He nails it on Mach 1.
All right, I'm back in the podcast. You can't get me to quit by making fun of Iron Man, but it is almost a mortal sin. Just don't start fucking with Lord of the Rings. Tony Stark is almost sacred ground for me. So let's just leave it at that. Let's shut the fuck up and let's move on to this asshole.
Okay. So, moving on after we got sidetracked on that.
And Tony Stark had help in the cave.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it took the Dark Lord Sauron, what? He had to build, 13 rings before he built the good one? He had to get all those practice rings out of the way, and then he made his. Like, oh, yeah, this is the right one.
Made 12 of them. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it was 13, I guess.
Tony Stark wouldn't have got far without saying.
That's about the truest statement I've heard in this whole thing.
We are all over the place right now.
You almost got me too, because I was about to go into Sauron's whole ideology, but I'm not going to. This almost turned into a podcast called There and Back Again. But I'm not going to do it, even though I so badly want to correct you on everything you just said.
Oh, Lord. Okay, moving on. Back with Duffy, we're back to blocking out Duffy's face.
Even though they already showed it to us.
He calls the police and offers a $50,000 bounty on Jack to the police. I don't understand the supervillain's whole MO.
No, I mean, look,
he's a conundrum.
Gotham police get bribed all the time.
I guess so.
Could happen.
So Jack finds some old rundown building and pushes some buttons on his car as he's driving in, and his car starts shitting out grenades. He sneaks in and with his not as impressive gun that he built, and again daydreams of Diane in the friggin' pool again.
He built a spear gun.
Yeah, this new gun is
built a spear gun.
Yeah, this new gun has a harpoon and a shotgun and a grenade launcher, and that's it.
They're just like taped together, like
it
like
doesn't.
Ripley and Aliens.
Yeah, it doesn't have a rotator mechanism like the Omni gun. It's subpar.
It's not spray painted, and it has nothing in the stock.
You don't have to hold it like you're carrying around a rolled up rug. Back at the station, the police say that they got yet another one of those super convenient exposition reports that Jack is holed up in an old ruined building on the East Road.
How did they fucking find this out?
Because we have to push this shit pile along.
I wonder how many times Richard Harrison showed up on set and it was just a dump or like some ruins or a public park or just the woods. Poor bastard.
That's what he chose to do. So the next morning, the cops roll up to the ruins and swarm in. And I swear to God, this is the same place that Wang Wang broke into in For Your Hide Only. It has to be.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why it isn't.
They tell Jack to come out and give himself up, or they're going to come in after him. They open fire as Jack starts moving through cover. Jack detonates the grenade traps that he set earlier to give himself a chance to set up for some good old cop murdering.
One thing you didn't mention. Okay, the police, they mentioned they're including civilian volunteers in this group of people.
Oh, I'm about to mention that.
Okay.
Yep. Because at this point, Jack proceeds to just kill dozens of police and deputized citizens in cold blood. Just starts gunning them down. So, any hopes of Jack being a likable character? I mean,
well,
he
definitely lost me with the old man.
Yeah,
there's an old man in this ragtag posse.
I was gonna mention that too.
And he's got like this old hunting shotgun.
I thought he had like a musket at first.
It's 12 feet long.
Fucking blunderbuss.
Yeah, it's 12 feet long. And this poor bastard, he just wanted to be part of.
Yep.
And Jack killed him, dead.
While he begged for his life.
Yes.
Unarmed. He threw down his weapon.
He couldn't have killed nothing with that ancient piece of military tech anyway.
Oh my God. So Jack gets wounded and flees into the jungle. And
the jungles of America.
Yeah. The cops are in close pursuit. This is where we just abandon the revenge plot and just go ass deep into First Blood.
Right.
So actually, when they went into the jungle, so I was like, okay, fellas, there's no jungles in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and there's some in Alaska and Hawaii and like Puerto Rico, and I guess one in Washington State.
Jungle?
So like, apparently there's a rainforest in Washington State.
Yeah, but it ain't got trees like that.
No. But, so I'm like, okay, you slippery bastards. But then they start putting in sound effects of like these monkeys going crazy. And I'm like, okay, this time I got you for real. There's no monkeys in the U.S. But
it's zoo adjacent.
But boy, was I mistaken, because I found this headline: avoid monkeys in Florida because they could give you killer herpes.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they have monkeys in Florida. You're right.
They're not native though, but yeah.
Oh, you didn't know about the Floridian herpes gibbon?
Yeah, I was unaware.
Actually,
So-
where I work, we have a primate research center, and one of the trainings you have to do talks about the herpes you can get from the monkeys.
So I got totally owned by this movie 2 times.
Remember, no kissing the monkeys on the mouth.
Well, it's, you don't want them to spit on you or anything, as they are wont to do.
Yeah. So the cops track down Jack in the jungle, and another gunfight breaks out. This is where Jack uses his harpoon to murder an old man before shotgunning a couple of cops. The cops give up as they're outclassed and fall back so that they can order in a special unit. Oh God, no more characters. There's only 12 minutes left in this movie. I don't need to be introduced to a ragtag team of the Predator gang or something. So Jack takes refuge in a cave when Duffy makes another call to deliver some more exposition to yet another hitman. A horse-mounted hitman. Let's just call him Horseman for kicks.
This is Duffy. That's right. Get Jack. Bring the horse.
So, back in the cave, we're just going to lean into first blood as Jack pries the bullet from his arm and seals it up with a hot knife. Jack hears something enter the cave, and please let it be a ninja on a horse. Please let it be a ninja on a horse. So, no horse, but it is Shadow the Ninja back for round 2. Jack manages to take him out this time and steals his ninja gear and his ninja horse. And within minutes, Jack rides to Duffy's compound so we can hastily wrap up this clusterfuck of a movie. The guards let him in thinking that he's Shadow, but one of the guards recognizes him and tips off Duffy. So Duffy calls out
Now, wait, this guard who is armed with a rifle realizes that it's Jack, who's been killing everybody. Doesn't shoot him in the face immediately. Goes and sneakily tells Duffy, hey, that's not a ninja.
Yep.
Like, shoot him. He's unarmed. Shoot him.
And then leaves Jack alone with Duffy in a room.
Yeah.
So Duffy calls out to Jack, knowing it's him. Jack asks why he killed his wife. Duffy says that he was in love with her, and he tried to give her everything, but she was too in love with you, Jack, so I killed her, because if I couldn't have her, no one could. And Jack gives Duffy the slip and starts running around gunning down his guards, ninja style.
I got something else, too. At some point, he has a pistol in this whole thing.
Yeah.
He's a weapons expert. He goes to reload, and he tries to put the clip in backwards. And then he turns it around and puts it in correctly. Weapons expert.
Expert.
Hey, you could be a computer expert and still fuck up putting in that flash drive. You know?
If only he had...
Yeah. There's no way you can put in a USB thing on the first try, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Same goes with magazines. You're correct.
Yeah. If only he had the firearm knowledge to know that you have to be constantly swapping between left-handed and right-handed grips and balancing on your big gut whenever you're not in use. It's not in use.
He would have done it correctly if he would have been cross-eyed.
Super far back callback.
That's like season 2.
So at this point, Jack takes a little rest on the steps when Duffy sneaks up behind him. Duffy points his gun at the back of Jack's head and pulls the trigger, but it's empty. 'Cause why wouldn't it be? Jack hears the empty click, draws his sword, and stabs Duffy over his head behind him. He spins around and slashes at Duffy again and again when the movie stops and puts up a little cop-out paragraph instead of coming up with a real ending to a movie. Which the paragraph, it's just frozen on Jack's like maniac face as he's slashing Duffy to ribbons.
Let me paraphrase it. Jack went to jail.
It's way stupider than that. Jack Kaplan went into hiding after killing Duffy Collins, but he was apprehended by authorities after a month of close surveillance. He was tried in court and sentenced to life in prison. After a few years, he developed a heart ailment and died of a heart attack at 42.
Squints grew up and married Wendy Peppercorn. They have 9 kids. They bought Vincent's drugstore and they still own it to this day. Bertram? Well, Bertram got really into the 60s and no one ever saw him again.
Roll the slightly askew credits and play the Planet of the Apes hunt music.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. So
that is not what I thought it was going to be for our first movie.
So I think that kind of ending must be a staple of this director. I've seen the ending of another one of his movies called what's it called? Blood Debts. Mm-hmm. And we'll have to watch the clip later. Look up Blood Debts ending on YouTube, everybody. it's pretty spectacular.
From what I've read, it's a common thing that directors do whenever they have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Well, okay, so this ending was this sort of epilogue type ending was popularized by American Graffiti, which came out in '73. But then Animal House did a parody of that ending, which came out in '78. So I feel like Famously. It's a more likely source for the inspiration for this ending. You stole it from Animal House.
Well, they figured they already had the Belushi lookalike. We might as well have the Animal House ending.
The all-time best credit overlay ending to a movie is Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
Hands down, no discussion. It's the best one because it explains that the reason why all the trucks and machinery went crazy and homicidal is because there was an alien spaceship making them do it, but it got taken out by a satellite armed with laser beams.
Mm-hmm. Tied that up real nice.
I swear to Christ, that's exactly what it says.
That's amazing.
Stephen King is a cokehead.
Well, he was, yes.
Yeah, but he's like a cokehead you want to hang around with, though.
I cannot come up with any rhyme or reason why these trucks became sentient and homicidal. Aliens. And they're dead now because of laser beams. The end. Moving on. I'm going to go write Dreamcatcher now.
Man's a genius.
Oh, man.
Lord.
That's good stuff. So he was 42 when he died. Sorry. He was 42 when he died, which is several years after the events of this movie.
Well, it sucks because he was 47 when they filmed it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the character was only 27.
All right, let's get these goddamn questions out of the way. I only have 5.
Okay. Great. You've gotten rid of so many of the things that I thought would be questions.
Okay, and I mean they're not great, but they're what they are. So
okay.
Here we go. Here's the 5 questions. Question number 1. How many times in the beginning of the movie does the Viet Cong soldier with the bazooka fire it? Question number 2. What time is it on Diane's clock on her nightstand in the wide shot? Because it changes. It changes wildly, I might add. Question number 3. On the cornered-in desk of the police chief, he has 3 telephones. What color are they?
Oh, fuck.
Now, I'll give you a sporting chance. If you can name 2 of them, of the 3 colors correctly, I'll give it to you. Question number 4. Who are the 4 characters that Jack asks, "Where's my wife?"
Oh, come on.
I'll give it to you if you get 3 of them. And question number 5. What is on Digger's shirt?
Oh, man.
Dude, I might be watching a double feature right now. Oh my god.
What the fuck is on Digger's shirt?
All right. Pencils down, everybody.
Dude, I am so screwed. The only thing I got is maybe the bazooka.
Okay, here we go. How many times did the Viet Cong shoot his bazooka?
I said 3.
I got 2.
It was 3.
Damn.
God. Thank God. That's all I needed. I'm fine with everything else.
Question number 2. What time is it on Diane's clock in the wide shot?
3:45.
Flashing 12.
It was 11:20. Color of the 3 phones on the chief's desk?
I said red, tan, and black.
Blue, orange, and tan.
Oh, John, you got 2 of them.
Okay.
Blake, it was orange, tan, and like a seafoam green. Question number 3. Who were the 4 characters that Richard asked, "Where's my wife?"
I just have Dennis, Eve, Bart, and Digger. I don't know.
His neighbor, Eve, and the bartender. I only put 3.
We'll throw out a 4th one.
And Dennis.
Okay, so Blake, you got 3 of them.
Yes.
What were
did I need 4 or 3?
Yes, I said I would give it to you if you got 3.
All right.
What were the 4 you said, John?
The neighbor, Eve, the bartender, and Dennis.
Yeah, you got 3 too. It was okay. Mike the neighbor, Dennis, Bart, and Eve.
Nice.
I was gonna do like how many times did he ask it because I thought it was gonna be way more than 4.
I kept track of every time he asked where she was, or like said something in that vein, like I can't find my wife or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't as many times. There was like all of them were in the trailer.
Yeah. And what is on Digger's shirt?
A cat.
I have no idea. Knight Rider.
No. It was the word cactus and a little picture of a cactus.
Wonderful.
So you both got 2.
Off to a good start.
Yeah. That could have been
I'm
worse.
still interested in playing the game. I haven't given up.
Well, all right. Without further ado, it's time for Coming Attractions. And John has the honor of giving us our famous episode 2. Is he going to ruin it? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he's going to fuck it up.
Yeah, I'm going to fuck it up. I totally forgot that episode 2 had so much riding on it. But we'll do this anyway.
But I'm sticking to my guns.
We're still doing it because there's no other options right now. So, normally we go after small fish, we're going after people just with the passion to make a movie, not a lot of money, not a lot of talent. So I thought we'd go after some of the big fish, some of the real villains, Hollywood, big budget Hollywood shit. So we're going to watch The Mummy 2017.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
It's on HBO, whatever app you use.
The Tom Cruise one, right?
The Tom Cruise one. It's got a 3.5 on Amazon, a 5.5 on IMDb, and a 15% Rotten Tomatoes score.
This is probably going to be the best shitty movie we've ever seen.
Probably.
We'll see. We'll see.
No. Not meaning like good quality. I meaning like it's new, it's fancy.
Yeah.
Like, not that it's going to have anything good in it. Yeah, it's not going to have anything good in it. Well, here we go. Here's our next chance to try to dodge a lawsuit from Scientology. Thanks, John.
I'm not clear on the runtime. It's either 110 minutes or 120.
It's either 110 minutes or 14 hours.
Kind of long. It's directed by Alex Kurtzman, who's primarily a writer, known for such quality screenplays as Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Star Trek Into Darkness, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
All great things.
Starring Tom Cruise, star of Cocktail, Losing It, Rock of
You
Ages.
had to say what Tom Cruise has been in.
Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2.
Some taglines. Welcome to a new world of gods and monsters. And ancient evil returns. Synopsis. Though safely entombed in a crypt deep beneath the unforgiving desert, an ancient princess whose destiny was unjustly taken from her is awakened in our current day, bringing with her malevolence grown over millennia and terrors that defy human comprehension. So IMDb contained some of the dumbest trivia I've ever seen for a movie. A piece of trivia: released 85 years after the original Mummy.
Okay.
So what? The character played by Tom Cruise was originally named Tyler Colt, but this was ultimately changed to Nick Morton.
Okay.
This is the fourth Mummy movie to receive a PG-13 rating.
This is all pointless.
Yeah, I know. Annabelle Wallace has played two characters named Jenny.
This is not trivia. These are just things.
I know.
These are things that sportscasters say when there's like an injury on the field.
Mummies are from Egypt.
Oh, man. The only relevant trivia to why this movie might be as bad as it is they pursued at least 3 other directors before giving it to Kurtzman. He's their fourth choice at least. And studio sources have said that Tom Cruise exerted too much control on the set and that his input into editing and marketing greatly changed the pace and style of the movie.
That doesn't sound like him at all.
Some plot keywords: wisecrack humor, babe scientist, skeleton, human monster, English woman abroad, stupid victim, camel spider, long-haired woman, draft beer, embarrassment nudity, bilingualism, and crotch grab.
I'm looking at it myself. I found another plot keyword. It says 5-foot-tall maniac who believes aliens came from volcanoes.
This is the movie that put the proverbial stake through the heart of the Dark Universe, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Because it only grossed like $400 million worldwide.
How much did it cost to make?
It was, I mean, as these movies go, I think it was relatively low. I think it was like $130 million or something. I mean, it profited, but not nearly as much as they wanted.
Not what they wanted to, yeah.
Right.
Dear all of cinema, stop trying to make universes.
Give it up.
Marvel is the anomaly. They did it. It's about to wrap up. Just stop. Go back to coming up with ideas.
Hollywood
Please.
is stomping its feet, screaming no.
No, we're all gonna have universes. Damn it. Blah.
Some reviews. We've got Just Stop.
Written by Chase Otay.
Complete crap, avoid.
Avoid.
Not a good mummy movie. Millennials will love it and think it's the best movie ever. Sucks.
Some bitter Gen X person there.
I'm curious to find out why. I will love this movie. Opened packaging here at parents' house. Mother and 10-year-old nephew's birthday. No discs. 1 star.
No discs or no discs?
No discs.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's dumb. I just love it when people review
the packaging.
they review like a mistake. Anyway,
Siskel and Ebert say The Mummy 2017, not enough dicks.
Oh man, so
that's a change of pace.
It is.
Yeah, I thought we'd try a little something different.
Is it gonna derail the podcast like Ninja Terminator?
I hope not.
Don't worry, I'll bring it all back in episode 3.
Oh Lord. All right, so there it is. We'll be watching the Tom Cruise vehicle, The Mummy, of the failed Dark Universe. I'm so glad that the thing died before they got a chance to ruin Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, but yeah.
And I'm glad that Del Toro basically just said, I'm going to make it myself, and I'm not going to make it the way you think I'm going to make it. So it's off the table now, pretty much.
Well, I hated that whole Del Toro movie.
Really?
Except for whenever they bring him into the surgical theater or whatever. Like, I thought that was an awesome scene. But I didn't like the movie.
I liked it.
Yeah, I also liked it.
Well, you're both wrong.
Okay.
No, it just wasn't my cup of tea, I guess.
That's fine. It's fine. I mean, I think there are some people that are fair weather Del Toro fans. They like the Blade 2s and the Hellboys.
Mm-hmm. What does everybody think of New Hellboy? While we're just kind of shooting the shit here at the end of episode 1.
I like the old Hellboy. I'm one of those people.
I kind of never really felt like they got him right. Like, even in the Del Toro ones, I like those movies well enough, but I always read Hellboy's sense of humor is much drier than they do in the movies. Mm-hmm. Especially the second one, where it gets like fucking slapstick. And this one, they're trying to make him edgy, which is not a thing that Hellboy has ever been. So, right. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to see it, but I don't think it's going to scratch that itch for a Hellboy movie. I'll definitely see it. I didn't see anything wrong with the other ones.
It's going to be, I mean, I get what John's saying about the originals, but it's going to be hard for me to accept anyone but Ron Perlman as Hellboy. I think they're going to be closer in tone to the comic. And it might, again, when you're reading something, you read it sort of in your own... It's how you... Yeah. So I just personally read it as much drier sense of humor. But, they're fine. The Del Toro ones are fine. But this looks like it's got elements that I'm going to like, but other stuff that I'm going to kind of hate. So, I don't know. We'll see. But enough about possibly good movies. What are we thinking? So we'll be watching The Mummy. I'd like to thank everybody for listening, for sticking around with us, for going on 5 seasons now. If you haven't yet, if you could drop us a review on iTunes, we would very much appreciate that. If you want to suggest a movie to us, we got a whole new season here. Send it our way. You can send it to us at Facebook at Garbage Theater /Facebook. I mean, what the hell am I talking about? Facebook.com/Garbage Theater. You can get us at Twitter at Garbage_Theater, on Instagram at Garbage_Theater, or you can email us directly at GarbageTheaterPodcast@gmail.com. Send us the suggestions. We will use them. It gets kind of tiring scraping the bowels of Amazon sometimes.
Well, I love when somebody writes in one, because I'm like, good. I don't have to think. I will say this, I'm not going to do it, but I did plan on theming all 4 of my picks this season, because I found one production company that made 4 movies that were all something man. There was Shark Man, Mosquito Man,
something else man, and I think Parasite Man or something.
Were they all part of a universe?
Maybe. They all had the exact same cover, except the dude's face was a different whatever corresponding animal he was. But I didn't want to waste my entire season doing it.
Yeah, that would suck. That would suck, man.
So, not doing that.
I'm gonna just let y'all know, it's gonna be very old school Blake picks coming up.
Christ. Get that weapon ready, John.
Yeah.
My goal is to draw the weapon out.
I think I got it. I think it's ready.
Use it wisely.
I figure we're gonna do a little razzle dazzle, and John's gonna waste it on me, and then Chase is gonna come and throw something that should have been taken out.
I'll tell you what I have learned. Don't use it too early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you don't use it early, you just got some shit to watch from me, my friend.
Or is that what we want you to do?
Who knows?
So many mind games.
You might want to use it early on me because none of my movies have any tits in them whatsoever, John.
Are you serious?
I know that's like your deal.
I don't even see how that's possible.
Nah, they probably do.
We're talking to the only person that we've had to call an audible for the movie that we're watching.
Well, I'm not the one who has the honor of actually interjecting hardcore porn into a movie.
I didn't
John.
personally interject the porn.
Yes, you did.
Oh, Lord. All right, so that's it for Fireback. We'll see you next time when we watch 2017's The Mummy. We'll see you then, folks.